Hey, welcome back to the channel. We started this video actually a couple of days ago when we bought this brand new, and I really didn't have any experience with this zero turn, and to be quite honest, we don't have a lot of experience with any zero turn. We're basically tractor people, and I've mowed with a small compact subcompact tractor and a 60-inch mower deck for years, and we decided to make the switch over to a zero turn, and wow, that's all I can say. Hey, we're going to see Bob Brewer at Bob's Tractor in McEwen, Tennessee. It's time for us to get a new mower, so we're going to look at a zero turn and see what he's got and see if we can come to some terms. Bob sells in blue tractors. He sells the red TYM tractors, X-Mark. Oh, he sells a bunch of different things. A lot of blue.
Hey, you.
I'm walking in a sea of blue with a TYM hat on.
People are singing out of their cars.
Yeah. Got some X-Mark. Got some Ferris. Ferris. What for you?
Thank you.
So Bob is a collector. There's all kind of old stuff here. Check this old truck out. Old flatbed. We need that. Old Ford. You just don't see tricycle front ends much anymore. I don't know why they got away from it. I guess because the roll cropping is different. Now he takes all these tractors one at a time into the shop, and they rebuild them and then sell them. He's got a pasture full of these tractors. So if you guys need parts for old tractors, you need to come see Bob in McEwen, Tennessee. So we were looking at the Ferris 700, Ferris, I think it's IS700. This is Ferris ISX 800, and then the Radius X-Mark. Honestly, I don't know that we would know the difference between any of them. They're both, all three of them are excellent looking mowers. They look well built, but we went ahead and went with the Ferris XS 700 because I just don't know that we have enough yard for this. But gosh, the 700 is pretty awesome too. Before we get out here, look at this one though. This is the ISX 3300. This thing's got 36 horsepower engine on it. I think that's what it said, 36 horsepower. My gosh. I mean, I know cars that don't have 36 horsepower. Look at the engine in this thing. It's basically just an engine with wheels. What a mower. I snuck out here and they're checking the air pressure in the tires, and I heard them checking the blades to make sure everything, they're going through the thing top to bottom. They're a full service shop. They do it all. We got this Ferris home. This is a Ferris IS700Z. I know that because it says it right there, and that's how I'm going to remember it. But one of the reasons we went with a Ferris is because of the four-wheel independent suspension. I'm not saying I know who did this, but during the winter somebody drove their diesel truck with a gooseneck through the middle of the front yard and got stuck. And let's just say that the suspension is needed in my front yard until we fix that issue. But this thing rides amazing. Already the best riding zero turn I've ever been on. Not that I know that much about zero turns. I've not got a lot of experience, but it rides like a car. So what I'm going to do is tonight I'm going to mow our front yard. We're not going to show you through all this. You'll see a little bit of the footage here. And then tomorrow we're going to go mow the farm, and we'll know better. I'll know better how to talk about it, because if I just talk about it now, I might as well just be reading the manual to you because I don't have any real experience on it. So let's make a couple of passes, and then I'll see you back at the farm tomorrow. There's a Chansey back here. So this is the Ferris IS700Z zero turn. Now I'm new to Ferris. Let me tell you the backstory of how we ended up with a Ferris. I have a really good friend who asked me to do a comparison video between Ferris and Exmark. And that was a couple of months ago, and then we decided to go ahead and get a zero turn. One really had nothing to do with the other, but I was already talking with him about zero turns anyway. And long story short, I said, hey, look, I don't know anything about zero turners. I really don't know anything about them. You know, they're basically an engine, a frame, and a mower deck. That's all I really know. And I said, you know, treat me the way you'd want your mother treated. This is what I got as far as land. We got 2.5 acres of land here. We've got to mow. We've got another 2 acres over at the farm to mow. I said, sell me what you would sell your mother in this particular case. He lined up an Exmark and 2 Ferrises, like, you know, very, very competitive. And we ended up going with this Ferris, and I'll tell you why. Because this thing has 4-wheel independent suspension. So the wheels were not independent suspension, but 4-wheel suspension. The big one has 4-wheel independent suspension. This one has suspension all the way around, and it has a suspension seat. So most of these mowers will only have a suspension seat, and for normal yards, that's probably very adequate. But for what we mow, we definitely needed the extra suspension. This mower will mow at 9 to 10 miles an hour. And I'm gonna tell you, my yard is horrible, and it will still mow at 9 to 10 miles an hour. This Ferris has a 27 horsepower V-twin Briggs & Stratton. It's got more than enough power. It's got an oil cooler and an actual oil filter over the chain. So you get into these size Briggs & Strattons, they're good engines. So it's easy to maintain. Everything is, I don't even know how to open the hood up yet. I'm pretty sure that, yep, there's a lever. How about that? But everything's easy to get to. It's very, very easy to check. There's not a lot to check. Battery terminals are tight. Your hydraulic reservoirs are full. You got oil in your engine, and your air filter's clean. That's not a whole lot to start out with. Now obviously there's more to it. You got to service the bearings in the deck every so often, but it's pretty impressive. It's a pretty impressive rig. So it has adjustable shocks depending on how big old boy are you, and so you can adjust these around to have it firmer or a softer ride depending on what you need and who the operator is going to be. Same on front and rear. The front shocks are a little bit smaller, but they still have the adjustability. So the fuel tank is really easy to get to. I really like where it's at. I don't even know how many gallons this thing is, but I know that I mowed 2.5 acres and it was roughly half a tank. That's what was used. And that is brand new, not broken in. It'll get a little bit better. So right now, the way this thing is set up, it is rated at about 5 acres an hour, and I actually believe it'll do it all day long. I ran through doing my yard. It's 2.5 acres, probably really 2.25 acres of actual mowing, and 5 acre rating is back and forth straight, nothing in the way. Real world yards don't work that way. You got to go around stuff. Reality is what used to take me 3 hours on a little tractor, I did in about 48 minutes. So that's pretty daggum good. So we have a little over 2.8 hours on this unit, which is absolutely nothing. That's no amount of hours really for this machine. I take my good friend told me this mower is going to last me a lifetime. For as long as I maintain it, it's easy to maintain. It is a commercial mower. It does have greasable bearings on the deck. Everything is really easy, you know, to source parts for. It's a very well-established company. I have no issues with it. Hey, if you're interested in this mower, I recommend my good friend Bob's Tractor Parts and Equipment in McEwen, Tennessee. I'll leave the website across the bottom of the screen when we make this video, and I'll leave his phone number in the description. I recommend you calling him at 12 p.m. at night. Sure, he'll appreciate that. So if you're interested in this mower and you want more information on it, let me know if you'd like me to make a more in-depth video. This is not really our channel thing, but I'm curious about it. And we also are going to do a test between one of the biggest Exmark and the biggest Ferris coming up. And the fact that I don't know anything about it is just going to make it that much more interesting. Appreciate you watching our channel. God bless. Have a great day.